Hello, so welcome back to day 2 of EULAR, and thank you to everyone that listened to the day 1 episode. So many lovely comments. I've been very lucky this morning to come into the Congress and have some people already asked to come on and who have listened, and it's been very positive. So thank you guys. It's always nice to know somebody's out there. But if you'd like to join us today or any day this week whilst the EULAR Congress is on, you can find us on the IFBA booth, which is in the sort of main walkway in Congress, and stay tuned as we bring you more conversations from people attending the show. So we're very fortunate to be joined on the IFBA booth now by Andreas Dam, who is the developer of the RheumaBuddy app. Welcome in.
Thank you very much. Very pleased to be here.
And Andreas, for anyone that is not aware of who you are or what you do, before we maybe talk about the app, do you want to sort of just give us a bit of background?
Yes, so I actually have a background in computer science and engineering, but I'm out of a healthcare family. And I think for that reason, I'm very passionate about how can we really utilize digital technology to improve healthcare, and with a particular focus on chronic care and really enabling people living with a chronic disease to take more control and be more empowered in their everyday life with this chronic disease.
Brilliant. Thank you for sharing that. And obviously, RheumaBuddy is an app that I've heard of, but for anyone that hasn't, do you want to maybe tell us a little bit about that and maybe a bit of its origin story as well?
Yes, definitely. So actually, it's been a journey that started out in 2014, where we met with some young people with rheumatic diseases. And basically, we didn't start out with an app, but we started out with a co-creation process. And we identified their needs and also needs among rheumatologists. And those 3 overall needs were like how to understand your own disease and how that impacts your life, and also how your lifestyle can impact your disease. Secondly, how do you communicate and give this good picture to your doctor as well when you're maybe seeing your doctor just every 3 or 6 months? And the third need we identified is like the psychological or mental impact that this kind of disease can have on your life. If the disease is bad on you, maybe you're then isolated or staying at home, and this can also mean you're really down in the cellar emotionally wise. So that's how it started out with RheumaBuddy. To be honest, we iterated multiple times because we had some good ideas in my company, but it didn't really relate so well. But I think we've been very fortunate to work in co-creation all the way, to really have a lot of great people living with the disease, and rheumatologists and dermatologists and all the different specialties involved. So today we have one RheumaBuddy product out in more than 30 countries in Europe, and it's used by many thousand people. And we're also working on a new RheumaBuddy version, actually, which is supposed to be more of a program, a coaching program, but it's a virtual digitalized one, where it's in 12 weeks, we will guide you through different steps of learning, doing and reflecting upon your life. And hopefully that can inspire you to find some small new habits, new tweaks that can really give you a better everyday life.
That's brilliant. And thank you so much for that explanation. And I really like that you touched upon some of the mental health side there, because I think sometimes, especially with things like psoriatic disease, that's often overlooked. So it sounds like that was at the forefront of your mind. Was that something that was always factored in? And also maybe you could tell us a little bit about how patients are involved in the development of the app?
Yes, for sure. So I think this mental side is really, really important. And luckily enough, we have come quite far in medical treatment of these diseases. However, there is still what we call residual symptoms sometimes remaining. For instance, in rheumatology, pain and fatigue are some of really predominant symptoms that still remain. And these can really impact you also in your mental and psychological well-being. The way we co-create is that we have a board of people representing the disease. I sometimes call them patients, but we really like not to use the word too much patients, because we are all human beings just living with some kind of disease. And then we have nurses and rheumatologists involved as well. And this is basically because we believe that the end users are really, really critical in the design process if we are to develop good technologies, good apps, and so on. I think a lot of apps are out there, and it is not easy. Actually, it's a very complex thing to develop apps that works for a lot of people because we are very different as human beings, and even if you have the same disease, those people that have this disease will have very different needs and very different use patterns in terms of a digital product.
Brilliant. You had me at co-create, so thank you. It's something we're very passionate about, both at IFPA and also me personally on my own advocacy journey. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I suppose just finally, do you want to maybe tell us what you're planning to do here at EULAR, what you're looking forward to seeing, and maybe what's next for RheumaBuddy?
Yes, thank you for that question. So in general, I really just love reconnecting with people in the real world because we are involved in a lot of collaboration and also some EU projects and so on across multiple countries, and we don't get to meet so often. So really just meeting up with people I already know, but also meeting new people, like having this conversation now with you is really fantastic to meet new passionate people about improving care and so on. And I would in particular say that what you're doing in terms of bridging dermatology and rheumatology, that is so needed because a lot of people actually, they do have both indications. And in our current healthcare, often it's so specialized that there is not a good bridge between those two functions, you could say, in terms of dermatology and rheumatology. So I'm really happy to see the work you're driving and continue all that good work.
Thank you, Andreas. It's been an absolute pleasure to meet you and talk with you today. And hopefully this is just the start. Enjoy the rest of your show. And thank you again for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So on day 2 of EULAR here in Vienna, I'm joined by good friend, award-winning patient advocate and communication specialist, Dr. Simon Stones. Welcome, Simon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us. I know you're extremely busy, so thank you for finding some time in your day to join us. What's your EULAR look like so far, can I dare ask?
It's been crazily busy, but it's all good. Just lots of networking, which I think is one of the big reasons why people come to EULAR, because we have such a strong community, patients, health professionals and researchers and industry, and it's just great to get everybody together talking about ideas. And there's already projects which are in the pipeline, just some discussions over the last 2 days.
Brilliant. And for people that are, I'm sure they are, but for people that are not aware of you and your work, maybe could you tell us a little bit about what you do here, both for EULAR, but also as your patient advocacy work?
Yeah, so I've been a patient advocate for 12 years, started off as a young person in paediatric rheumatology research. And I just got excited by realizing that my voice matters and I can make a difference by using my lived experience to shape research and care. So I got involved with EULAR about 10 years ago in various different activities, which I'll not list, but I started off as one of the founding members of Young PARE, so really shifting the needle and looking at young people, making sure that they have a voice and that they are integrated into the work that EULAR and the wider rheumatology community does. And I've been on the PARE Committee, which is the adult, basically version of Young PARE, that really provides strategic direction for EULAR about patient involvement in all aspects of EULAR's work. And I'm really excited to be officially from the Congress to be the chair-elect of the PARE Committee. So over the next 4 years, I'll be working with the PARE leadership team to make sure that we keep advocating for patients within EULAR and really being the beacon for patient involvement in research and delivering the best care that we can for over 120 million people in Europe living with rheumatic and musculoskeletal diseases, and working with our international community to advocate for patients and carers.
That's amazing. We're clearly very fortunate to have you join us, and yeah, I don't know how you fit it all in, so thank you. And I understand you live with psoriatic disease, as I do, and obviously we're here at the show this week to promote our Good Care for PSA project, which is all about informing patients and making sure that they've got some insight into what options are available to them. Is this an area that you're passionate about or have had any experience in?
I mean, absolutely. So, I mean, for me, knowledge is power. But you can't just have knowledge, you can't just have information. It needs to be in accessible formats. We need to be thinking about people's health literacy and health numeracy, and that's a real big passion of mine. The information is only as good as the way it's delivered. So, and to get the best information, you need to have everybody around the table. So you need patients and carers who understand the information needs. You need health professionals and researchers who can provide the scientific lens. And you also need communication specialists to make sure that we aren't just producing content in one static form, but we produce lots of different variety of content in ways that reach people and reach people where they are, because that is one of the biggest challenges which I think we still see day in, day out.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you for sharing that. And I suppose with both your EULAR hat on and patient advocate hat on as well, what role do you think patient organisations, or how important do you think patient organisations' sort of role is in us all basically trying to achieve the same thing of better patient outcomes?
So I don't think we truly realise the power of patient organisations. I think we as individuals who work within patient organisations do, but I think externally, there's a historical context of, they're just support groups. No. That is a component. Peer support is a huge component of what patient organisations do. Well, there's so much more, and for me, they are the trusted bodies where people living with different conditions can go to because they know these are organisations and people who have lived experience, who provide that different lens, and they trust them. And for me, that is, patient organisations are the bridge between your wider patient community. They can provide that holistic, sort of 360-degree view of what's actually relevant to people, and then can bridge the gap with health professionals, with researchers, with industry, and other stakeholders. In an ideal world, the work that patient organisations do should be embedded within healthcare systems. Unfortunately, that's not the case and probably won't be for a very long time. So they are a hugely critical component of the whole health ecosystem. And without patient organisations, we would be in a much worse place. So I want more people to understand the power of patient organisations, not just on the sidelines, not just tokenistic support group activities. That's a component, but it's just a small drop in the ocean of the work that they do.
What a beautiful answer. And that in a snapshot for anyone that's not familiar with previous conversations you and I have had either on the podcast and other things you've done, that really gives an insight, I think, into why your work is so appreciated, well respected, and so impactful. So thank you for sharing that, Simon. I suppose finally, I'd just like to ask you, what does the rest of your week at EULAR look like? Is there anything you're looking forward to or hoping to achieve, or is it more running around sort of doing lots of different jobs?
I'm hoping they're running around. Today's been the worst day in terms of running around. So I'm looking forward to attending some sessions where I'm no more speaking opportunities for me now. So I can get to some of the sessions, I can listen, and I am just really looking forward to lots of discussions. It is bouncing these ideas. And today I've had 3-4 different individuals come up to me saying, I've got this idea. So I was like, okay, let's make it happen. I am one for being proactive, listening to ideas, trying to make changes. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And I just say, if people have those ideas, come and speak to the likes of me, the PARE leadership team, speak with our patient PARE community. Let's share those ideas and let's do something. We've got researchers, health professionals who want to work with us. It's a real collaborative environment at EULAR. So if you've got those ideas, share them. That's what it's all about, I think, because when we, at that stage, come up with the ideas, we can then co-create research, different projects together. And that's when you get really quality pieces of work at the end that actually delivers meaningful differences to patients and carers and the wider community. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And I hope other people will have those ideas. Don't be afraid of speaking up. Share them. Let's do something together.
Brilliant. And you concentrated beautifully through that, considering there was lots of things going on around the booth. So thank you for sharing that. Simon, whenever I speak to you, I'm re-energized, and I always come away from these things with lots of ideas, and it fills my cup up. But you in particular really contribute to that. And thank you so much for all your words, for all your work, for all the help you offer, and that people can approach and ask and sort of bounce those ideas off you. And thank you for giving up your time today. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you for having me. I was a little bit late, but that's EULAR for you. So thank you for having me, and just so excited to see what's to come and what you do and the work that IFPA does, and all the more collaborative ways we can work together in the future. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Simon. And if you would like to join us to share either the great work that you're doing, anything regarding patient involvement, or what you're planning from the show to get from the Congress at EULAR, you can find us on Booth O22. And come and have a chat, and we will share it with the world. Thank you.